Disney is notorious for sneaking messed up moments into their films, whether it's a sly adult joke, a hidden frame in the animation, or just a wacky plotline. It seems that every Disney movie has at least a few moments that should probably not have made the cut, and those are exactly the moments we're going to be looking at today. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to Screen Rant so you never miss an upload. Before we jump into today's list, why not try your hand at our emoji trivia? Can you guess the name of this film based off of these emojis? The answer will be revealed at the end of this video.
Of course, none of it would have happened if she just told me her secret. She's a stinker.
Frozen. Disney's 2013 animated musical Frozen was the runaway hit of, well, the decade. Despite being 4 years old at this point, Frozen is still immensely popular with children and adults alike. With a sequel set for release in November of 2019, it doesn't look like the hype around the franchise is going to slow down anytime soon. In the film, Anna becomes romantically obsessed with Prince Hans, but the refreshingly subversive plot of Frozen sees Anna eventually realize her infatuation was a little too hasty. In a scene with Kristoff, the Ice Miner points out how ridiculous Anna is being by asking her simple questions about her new love. It turns out, she doesn't really know a whole lot about him.
Oh yeah? What's his last name?
Of the Southern Isles.
What's his favorite food?
Sandwiches.
Best friend's name?
Probably John.
Eye color.
Dreamy.
Foot size?
Foot size doesn't matter.
This may have gone over the heads of the kids in the audience, but the parents definitely knew what this was actually referring to.
Hold still, will ya?
Who Framed Roger Rabbit? This Disney moment is way more messed up than the last. At least in Frozen, the characters were just alluding to something a little cheeky. In this example, the animators actually put in something visual that should definitely not be in a kids movie. Directed by Robert Zemeckis, Who Framed Roger Rabbit blends live action and animation in the story of a private detective investigating the murder of a rich businessman. The film was released in 1988, long before the prying eyes of the internet were able to find every little Easter egg in a film. So, the animators probably thought they could get away with it when they snuck some nudity into the film. That's right, in a very quick moment featuring the animated character Jessica Rabbit, her dress flies up to reveal that she isn't wearing any underwear. At a time when you could only get the movie on VHS, it must have been really hard to find this messed up Easter egg. But what makes this story really interesting is that Disney actually altered the scene in later releases after this snapshot was found. I wonder how much trouble the animator got into for this prank.
Shall never see the light of another day. Adieu.
Didn't your mother ever tell you not to play with your food?
The Lion King. The Lion King is a certified Disney classic. Released in 1994 during Disney's Renaissance era, The Lion King is the epic story of Simba that won 2 Academy Awards, led to a Broadway musical, and spawned several sequels, including 2, that's right, 2 television series. This film doesn't so much feature a messed up moment as it does a whole messed up storyline. Let's break it down. In A Pride of Lions, all of the female lionesses are related to each other. They all stick together in one pride with a male leader. The male lions are expected to go off and form their own pride. That means that in The Lion King, Simba and Nala must be related. They might not be siblings, but they are, at the very least, cousins. It makes it kind of difficult to justify their whole romance. Of course, the filmmakers are going to take some artistic liberties with the science behind the film. I mean, lions don't talk or sing in real life. But this is one of those issues that could have been easily avoided with a quick mention that Nala was maybe adopted. We'll see how this plot point is handled in the live-action remake, set for release in July of 2019. Toy Story 3. The third installment in the wildly successful Toy Story franchise was released in 2010. Directed by Lee Unkrich and written by Michael Arndt, the film revolves around Andy preparing to leave for college. The legendary cast returned to reprise their iconic roles, including Tom Hanks, Tim Allen, and Joan Cusack, with a few new voices from celebrities like Whoopi Goldberg, Michael Keaton, and Timothy Dalton. The stellar cast, superb animation, and heartbreaking story all work together to make Toy Story 3 a worthy entry in the franchise. But of course, like every other film on this list, Disney couldn't help but include a pretty messed up moment in the plot. This one isn't an adult theme or hidden message, but it's a really heavy moment for a kids movie. At one point in the film, all of the toys are stuck in a furnace with seemingly no way out. They all look out together at the flames that are about to burn them to death, and just decide to huddle together, close their eyes, and embrace the inevitability of their demise. Holy crap! Come on, Disney, that's just dark.
I have decided to make my final wish. I wish for Princess Jasmine to fall desperately in love with me.
Aladdin. This next moment has been the stuff of disturbing Disney legend since the movie was released back in 1992, and it comes from Aladdin. This Disney Renaissance classic tells the story of the eponymous street rat Aladdin, who meets a genie voiced by the late great Robin Williams, who helps make his dreams of becoming a prince into a reality. The film was a huge success, leading to a few unfortunate direct-to-video sequels, a TV series, video games, and, you guessed it, a Broadway musical. It's been a long-held rumor that you can hear a mysterious voice in the background of one scene saying, "Good teenagers, take off your clothes." When you turn the volume up really high, it actually sounds pretty unmistakable. Disney has maintained that Aladdin is in fact saying, "Come on, good kitty, take off and go." The subtitles for the film even read something to that effect, but it seems as if there's a second voice present somewhere in the audio track. The problem with this rumor is that once you're told what to listen for, your brain sort of creates those words out of the jumbled track in the movie. But still, this is one messed up Disney moment we'll never really have a clear answer to. The Rescuers. This next entry actually caused a bit of controversy because Disney ended up recalling millions of copies of the home video release when it was discovered. This history-making moment comes from 1977's The Rescuers. The story revolves around a mouse rescue agency on a mission to save an orphan girl being held hostage by the evil Madame Medusa. In one scene, our heroes are riding a sardine box through the city and pass by numerous apartment buildings whizzing by in the background. If you pause the original version of the film at just the right point, you can very clearly see a woman who we can only assume is in the middle of changing in front of the window. Apparently, this wasn't the fault of a rogue animator. Disney has stated that they believe somebody inserted the photo at some point during post-production. However it happened, the image made it into the theatrical release and the first home video release of the film before the infamous recall. Funnily enough, the Easter egg wasn't widely known at the time of Disney's recall, so by issuing a public statement about it, they kind of clued everybody in themselves. Pinocchio. Originally released in 1940, Pinocchio is one of the oldest films on this list. It focuses on a wooden puppet brought to life by a fairy who is determined to become a real boy. His growing nose has become ubiquitous since the film's release. Pinocchio wasn't an immediate critical success, but it was a monumental achievement in animation at the time for its realistic movement and detailed animation of weather and natural environments. The film did eventually find its audience when it was re-released in 1945, and has since been added to the United States National Film Registry for its historical and cultural significance. But there's a pretty strange plot point in the film that's actually totally messed up when you stop to think about it. In the film, all of the boys on Pleasure Island who misbehave are turned into donkeys who can't speak and are sold into slave labor in a salt mine. The ones who do retain their voices are crying and begging to return home to their families. It's seriously messed up and must have given plenty of kids nightmares back in the 40s. The worst part is that the villains kind of just get away with everything in the end, so we don't even get the satisfaction of seeing them pay for what they've done. Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs is the very first feature-length animated film by Disney, so its inclusion on this list proves that Disney has been sneaking messed up moments into its films from the very beginning, and they've always been getting away with it. Snow White was nominated for Best Musical Score at the Oscars, and Walt Disney was given an honorary Oscar because of the film. At the time, it set the record for being the highest-grossing sound film. The plot is an adaptation of the original fairy tale by the Brothers Grimm, but the Disney version has become so ingrained in our culture that most people think of the movie version when referencing the popular character. The original Brothers Grimm tales are always a little more messed up than their Disney counterparts, but that doesn't mean Disney didn't retain some of the grimness of the original. Think about it, the evil queen takes out a hit on her own stepdaughter. That's already pretty messed up for a kid's movie, but what's more, she asks for her heart as proof that the deed was carried out effectively. Come on, evil queen, have a heart. Or rather, don't.
That this was all just a big mistake. Huh, right? Buddy?
Let's go back to Toy Story, because there are plenty of messed up moments throughout the entire franchise. This one comes from the first movie, which was originally released back in 1995. In fact, Toy Story is the very first feature-length film made entirely with computer animation. Now, we all remember the scene in which Woody and Buzz are captured by the downright evil kid next door, Sid. His version of playing with his toys involves torturing, dismembering, and reassembling them into gruesome Frankenstein-esque creations. This scene is creepy enough as it is, but if you take one small detail into account, it gets even more messed up. In one moment during the scene, Sid burns Woody by pointing a magnifying glass at him. Woody remains calm until Sid is out of sight and then cries out in horror. This confirms one important detail: the toys can feel pain. So not only is Sid hurting Woody in this scene, but all of his other toys would have felt every moment of their dismemberment and reassembly. Imagine feeling that level of brutal pain, but having to remain completely still and silent through all of it. That's enough to give us nightmares even as adults.
Honey?
What?
Where's my super suit?
What?
Where is my super suit?
The Incredibles. 2004's The Incredibles features a superhero family who keep their powers a secret in their nice suburban town. When former fan turned supervillain Syndrome threatens Earth with an evil robot, the Incredibles must work together to stop him. The film was written and directed by Brad Bird, the man behind the criminally underrated film The Iron Giant. Thankfully, The Incredibles was a critical and commercial success, winning 2 Academy Awards, including Best Animated Feature. The Incredibles features so many sly adult jokes that it's hard to just focus on one. In their first encounter, Elastigirl tells Mr. Incredible that she's very flexible in the bedroom. Considering the nature of her superpowers, it's kind of weird when you really stop to think about it. Later, with Mr. Incredible back to fighting evil, we're treated to a montage highlighting his improved mood, which features a lot of renewed passion for Elastigirl. All of this kind of just gives us that feeling of watching your parents kiss. Ew. Fans of The Incredibles have a lot to be excited about. The film is finally getting a sequel after over a decade. The Incredibles 2 is set for release in June of 2018, with Holly Hunter, the voice of Elastigirl, and Samuel L. Jackson confirmed to be reprising their roles. Did any of these messed up moments slip by you the first time you saw the movie? Let us know in the comments below. As always, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to Screen Rant, and join our notification squad so you can stay up to date with our playlist. And the answer to the emoji trivia question is... did you get it? Let us know in the comments. Thanks for watching.